So I just got off a call with my students, just barely, so I'm just super excited and I'm on cloud nine. Super fun to go through their different deals that they're working on, their different negotiations. And so today's video I'm excited to introduce is going to be on, can you do real estate investing? Can you do real estate without money? There's so many gurus out there that you'll see that say, buy properties with no money, no credit. Can that be done? I'm going to say true and false. So true, you do not have to buy the property to make money in real estate. You do not have to have a license to do real estate, and you do not have to have great credit to do real estate. That is true, but I do believe that zero money invested is never going to get you anywhere. So we're going to talk about what I mean by that. So if you come over to my board, what I've done is I've written out a list of steps to be able to buy property or invest into real estate with zero money. So the number one step is building a cash buyer's list. What that means is, let's say you find a property that needs some love and the owner wants to sell it. They want to be done with it quickly and they're willing to sell it at a discount for that speed and convenience factor. So what would you do with that deal if you can't buy it? Someone's willing to sell it for 50 cents on the dollar, but if you can't buy it, you can do what's called wholesaling in the real estate world. And what that is where you specialize in finding these sellers that want speed and convenience, right? And you essentially become a pawn shop for these properties. And so Mr. Seller comes along and says, I'll sell it for 50 cents on the dollar. You say, well, why don't you list it with an agent? You could make more money. And they say, I don't want to deal with it. I want it done now. Can you buy it cash? You say, yes, I can. So then what you do is you get an assignable purchase contract. And what I mean by assignable is where you sign the property that you can buy it, but there's a contract in there, or a clause in the contract that allows you to sell that piece of paper to a flipper, to a buy and hold investor, and then they close on the property and they buy the contract from you for an assignment fee. So the steps to make this happen to where you can do anywhere between a couple $100 to over $100,000 for an assignment fee here's the steps. We're going to go through them right now. So number one is, I would suggest that you build a cash buyer's list. Because if you find a deal and you do not have a place to sell that contract, you're not going to make any money with it. I've heard so many people say, and even my very first mentor tell me, that you don't need to worry about finding a buyer until you have a great deal. And that is completely not true. My very first deal that I put under contract, I had zero confidence that I could move it. And that was because I had all of the gurus in my area, all the experienced investors tell me it couldn't be done. I couldn't sell it. I had it under contract too high. But I had gone out and done the work to build a cash buyer's list. One of my buyers wanted it. He paid me $10,000 for the contract. I walked away with a big check for $10,000 because he had to move money for tax purposes. He had a 1031 tax exchange where he sold one piece of real estate to buy another one. And so this was an opportunity for him to not have to pay so much in taxes. So I had the right buyer at the right time with a deal that made sense to him. So I would highly suggest building a cash buyer's list. I'm not going to go into how to do that today. If you have questions about that, feel free to ask. Next is, I would go, or even simultaneously, I would make sure you have a purchase agreement. So normal standard real estate purchase agreements normally do not have the right to assign those contracts. Some of those contracts have an addendum or a clause that says you can assign them. So you can go to your local realtor and ask them, do you have a purchase agreement that also has an addendum to assign the contract? You can use that contract. That's going to be free. You can access it that way. But what I would suggest, and what I've done, is I've gone and met with an attorney. I would find an experienced real estate investing attorney. It's just like a doctor. Not every doctor is a brain surgeon, right? And a brain surgeon's not going to do open heart surgery on you either. So an attorney, it's the same thing. They specialize in different areas. So make sure you find an experienced real estate attorney that has experience working with creative real estate investors. And they can give you a purchase agreement that would be more specific to your state and to your local market. And they can give you a contract that allows you to sell a purchase agreement, okay? And they can set you up with all of that paperwork. I would highly suggest not paying over $1,000 for those contracts. So some attorneys may want to charge you way more, and it's an unreasonable amount after that, okay? So when I said you can do it for free, you're going to start spending some money to find these deals, right? So that's probably one of the first expenses you're going to have is a good purchase agreement. Next is your marketing channel. So you cannot find these properties by sitting at home and hoping, with as much hope as you want. You're not going to have deals just appear in front of you without working for them, without spending money on marketing. So that is what I specialize in, is teaching people how to find these deals. So I use a strategy that's called driving for dollars. It's where we drive around neighborhoods and find the ugly houses, and we do marketing to those properties. We cold call them, we send postcards, and we have a step-by-step strategy on how to do that. I'm sure there's going to be a link attached to this video where you can access more information on that. And I'm sure there's more videos too that we'll be creating that you can see more about driving for dollars. There's lots of different strategies as well of finding these properties. But there's a book that I read that I quote often. It's called Multifamily Millionaires. And in that book, it's talking about buying these giant apartment complexes and being a multi-million-dollar investor. And the funny thing that he says is, if you're not in the business of real estate, you are in the business of marketing, and your product is real estate. And so if you want to get into this business, you need to be good at finding discounted deals on a frequent basis. And so that is really the key factor of buying properties with zero money, right? Is being good at marketing. So that would be the next channel. But once you have done the marketing, you find someone that wants to sell for speed and convenience, you have the purchase agreement, you get them to sign the purchase agreement, you then send it to your cash buyers list, right? So you have everything lined up, send it to your cash buyers list, you have a buyer on board, he signs an agreement to pay a certain amount for the cash buyer, for the purchase agreement. You then take all of that paperwork and you take it to a title company. A title company can then take all of that paperwork and make sure that the seller gets their money, the buyer puts their money in, and then you get your assignment fee as well at closing. So you need to make sure you find a title company that is familiar with an assignment contract type transaction. So not all title companies are familiar with this process. Not all title companies are willing to or will be good at servicing these types of deals because they take a little bit more effort. They're not just a traditional route. So make sure you find a good experienced title company to help you through that part of the business. Keep in mind that this part of it is free, the title company. You're going to send that paperwork to them, and the title company gets paid through the transaction. So you don't have to pay them anything up front. You will, however, want to put earnest money down on a contract. So when you send the purchase agreement to the title company, usually you have to have an amount of money that you give to the title company that they hold, or that you give to the seller that they hold, which makes the contract legally binding, that they're agreeing to sell to you and you're agreeing to buy it from them. And so you may want to have $100. We do up to $2,000 per deal. But what's important is you have some money down at the title company, making that a legally binding agreement. So there is that money as well that you will probably want to have at the title company. If it doesn't work out, you should be able to have a time frame that you can cancel the agreement, and that you'll be able to get that earnest money back from the title company. And then once everything goes through at the title company, they will wire the money or give you a big old check that you can celebrate and take a picture and send to me, because I want to know when you have success. And but that is the process of wholesaling. Those are kind of the step-by-steps in a very general, specific sense. But if you have any questions about this process, if you have any questions on how I can help you, keep in mind that I am doing this because it's my opportunity to give back. I have a very successful business. I've been so very blessed by this that it is an opportunity for me to bless other people's lives. So if you have questions, post them below. Also, if you're interested, check out our other content. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and excited to help you on your journey of becoming a very successful investor. Talk to y'all soon.